application of a color filter to a color image can be controlled in a couple of different ways. The color toolbar buttons here can be used with most of the enhancement filters that don't already have their own commands and sliders, parameters for adjusting color. If a command does have a color parameter on it, then in general they'll pretty much override these. But for commands like pixel math, stretching, sharpening, commands that don't generally have their own color manipulation commands and parameters on them, they'll be controlled by the use of these color toolbars. So let's take an example here. I'm going to look at digital development, and to help track what's going on, I'm going to open the process history window. Now I've got two operators open here, process history, digital development. Let's take a quick look at this open operators menu. A couple of things I can do. If I have a bunch of operators open, I don't necessarily have to close them all to open or use them. I can cascade the operators. I can minimize all of them, restore them to their last used position, which might be over here. And I can use it as a list of open operators here. And if I want to pull one operator to the top, well, I've got two choices. I can either click on it in the open operator list, or I can go back to the menu that it was used originally to open it and reopen it that way. And this won't change the parameters any, it'll just bring the window to the top if it's already open. Otherwise it'll open it to its default parameters. Okay. I'm going to apply digital development to this color image. We're going to track what's going on with this process history window. So first of all, let's apply a brightness increase equally to the red, green, and blue color data. And I'm doing that because I've got this toolbar depressed. Apply an operator to red, green, and blue. So I'm going to brighten it quite a bit. Maybe not that much. And then I'll make the background a little brighter. And see over here in the process history window now, I have my original read the image operation, and now I've got digital development as the next command that was applied to it, along with a list of all the parameters on digital development, their current setting. And right here it says apply to red, green, and blue. And that's because this toolbar is depressed and digital development is sensitive to these color toolbar buttons. Okay, let's duplicate this image. See, now I have an exact duplicate of it, and not only is the image duplicated, but so is its process history. And I want to delete this digital development from the duplicate image, so I right-clicked on it, chose delete, and then confirm that, and this will put it back to its original condition when I read it. Now let's press the red only and basically apply just the same digital development. See, so now it'll only stretch the red data. If you look over here in the process history, I've got one application of digital development applied to red data only, plus all the parameters. If I press the green button, press apply on digital development, now I stretch the green data. And looking over here, I've got green as the channel it was applied to the second time. And then last, if I press the blue button, apply digital development again. Now I've got three applications, the last one to the blue data, and the image really looks the same because it's done the same stretch here all at once to the red, green, and blue, and here individually. And this is nice because a lot of times you may want to apply the same operator to an image, but not necessarily the same parameters for the red, green, and blue. You may want to stretch the red a little more than the green, or smooth the blue a little more than the red and green. And that's when you'd use these. Okay, little thing about process history. I've got two images. When I select an image, make it current, the process history is automatically updated to whatever happened to that particular image. Click on the other one. I've got 3 digital developments, red, green, and blue applied. And here I only have one applied all at once to the red and green. If I pick one of these, I can use the undo and redo buttons to step backwards and forwards through this process history list. So here I'm at my last application of digital development to blue. Press undo once. Now it's back to the green. So now it's back to the red image. Here it's back to the original read. Step this way. Or I could double click on it. And basically the difference is if you double click on the command in the process window, it'll open the command and set its parameters also. If you use the undo and redo buttons, it'll just step through and not open any of the command windows. It'll just show you the command, its parameters, and the state of the image. Okay, so we'll look at this process history a lot more in detail here. Let's go back to the last one here where red, green, and blue was all stretched equally. That's digital development. Other commands like pixel math, well, this is sensitive to the red, green, and blue toolbar buttons. Most of the commands are. Really the only ones that aren't are things in this area. Color balance, saturation, and brightness, where you're actually taking the values and manipulating the red, green, and blue somehow to create the effect of the filter. And for filters of this type, they ignore the commands up here. And so would a monochrome image. A monochrome image has no color channel data. It's all gray, and no matter what these are set to, you're going to smooth or sharpen or brighten just the single color channel. Okay, so again, these are used for commands that don't have their own, in general, don't have their own explicit color control. Things on this part of the menu right through here override it. But pretty much all the other commands where you're actually filtering the data, changing it somehow, are sensitive to these commands, these toolbar buttons. What have I forgot? Well, I think that's about it for the color channel data. Oh, one other thing. If you do have a monochrome image, and we can build one here, split luminance. Let's zoom that down a little bit. I have a monochrome image, indicate it's because it's a grayscale here. I can use this command to change its interpretation. Here it's interpreted as luminance, saturation, hue, gray. Well, in this case they're all the same. Consider it yellow data, magenta, cyan, blue, green, or red. Now this doesn't really change the data in any way, it just changes how it's interpreted or displayed on the screen. You can come down here and actually mix color channels, but we won't get into that now. But pretty much, if you want to apply a filter, use the red, green, and blue to change all channels equally, or if you want to change them differently a little bit, you could use this. One last example. Let's open this image again, and we can note that it's overall red, the background. You might want to just reduce the red a little bit with something like pixel math, and we'll apply, maybe we'll cut the red in half. Maybe 0.73 would be better. And then when I come back in and apply something like digital development to all the colors, I'll come up with something a little bit better color balanced. So that's an example of when you might want to use just the red followed by an application to all color channels. and it's tracked in the process history. If I double click on pixel math, it's applied only to the red. If I look at the parameters for digital development, it was applied to red, green, and blue. Okay.